Alright, so this is the last lecture in our series of built-in functions in Python. And I just want to cover up a few of the functions we already know to make sure you realize that they are functions, and just a quick recap of what we've covered so far, and then I'll show you one more new function. So the first function in this quick recap of the first 20 or so lectures is the len function. So like we've learned before, is in the len function you can put in any array of some sort and it'll return you what is the length of that array. Let's try it for a string. If I say len my name, then I'll get 7. So len function is very useful when you want to know, hey, how many characters are in the string, how many objects are in this array, how many items are in this dictionary, and so on. So the len function is quite useful in that case. For example, if I want to create or know how many objects there are in some sort of specific data type, I can use a len function for that. Now after the len function, there is again the max and the min function. So I'm going to again create, or actually in this case, I'm going to create an array and I'm going to call it, or a list in this case, and I'm going to put in some string values. So A, B, C. So if I call max array on this function or on this array, I get C. So right now, the way this works is lowercase z is the highest value. It's the highest value of the alphabets, and uppercase A is the lowest of all the values in the alphabet. So there's uppercase and lowercase. For example, if I initialize array again with A, B, and C, A and D, now if I say min array, I'll get A. So think of it, capitalized or uppercase letters come first, so A to Z, and then lowercase letters come after that, then A to Z. So lowercase z is the best and uppercase A is the worst. So again, this is a quick example of max and min. We've already discussed how it works with numbers. If you do max array in an array which has numbers, it'll return you the maximum number and the minimum number. So there's max and min, there's len. Then after that, you have the range function like we've already talked about. We've seen it in for loops, but you can also talk about that for x or for I in range 0 to 5, 0 to 10, and then you can put the third parameter in range to skip that counter. So last but not least, and this is the last inbuilt function we'll talk about for a good 15 or so lectures, is the sum function. So let's go ahead and let me quickly copy this array, or at least part of this, and I'm gonna say list 1, and then set this as this. So 23, 25, 2, 34, 5, 35. Again, it's just random numbers. Basically, I just want to show you the sum function. So if I say sum list 1, it returns me the sum of all the numbers in a list. So it's quite useful. Instead of having to iterate through the list and then add it to another variable, you can quickly call the sum of list 1 and get the total sum of everything in your list. So that's it for inbuilt functions. I know you're probably thinking, finally, we're done with inbuilt functions, or built-in functions, however you want to say it. But I just wanted to show you all the different functions you can use with Python. So by now you probably have a clear idea of how functions work. How do you do things in Python? You're slowly understanding what a simple and easy language Python is to use, and it's quite versatile. You can get a lot of things done. So we're almost done with the basics of Python, I guess you could say. So we've learned about, we started off with variables, data types, moved on to loops, if statements, else statements. We learned about the basics, how to comment, pass, break, continue. Now we're finally on to functions. We learned how they work. Now the last part in this series will be classes, so object-oriented programming. Again, it's also quite simple. There's nothing too complex about it, but I'll give you a quick introduction on how those things work, and then after that we'll get on to file handling, so opening, closing files, stuff like that. See you then.